looks awesome.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy, Mr. Ryan Ennis. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing quite well today. And you, my good sir?
I'm hanging in there, man. Talking about snow down, at least in these parts, this weekend, so that should be interesting.
Bro, it's fucking brick titties outside today, man. I walked outside, I was like, fuck this. Like, I like the cold. You know I like the cold.
Yeah.
I walked outside and I was like, fuck this. Brick titties.
Well, dude, last night I was at the CZW Dojo show. I had to wait outside for like an hour before they opened the doors, and I'm like,
yeah, man. But winter is here. It's almost Christmas. You doing any shopping yet?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
And I've told you this, I don't know if I've said it on air, but I have the lovely double whammy where my mother's birthday is 3 days before Christmas and my son's birthday is a week after Christmas.
Oh, fuck.
So I always tease my mom. I said, let me take you to dinner.
For Christmas and birthday. There you go.
Yeah. So that was always like the running joke. And then I tell my son that too. I was like, this is your birthday and Christmas gift. He's like, no, you can't do that.
That's so funny. Kids are hysterical.
I know. I was just like, yeah, I probably would have said that at his age too.
But yeah. So.
Oh man, but we just I looked it up before we started recording. Next week is WWE Week on USA Network, and they will have, because I don't think they've ever done it before. NXT will be on the USA Network.
I think that's really cool that, they get that opportunity. It's with it being Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and the tribute to the troops.
Yes.
It's real cool. I hope people pay attention. I hope people tune in and watch. And I hope whatever they taped for it is, in a way to bring new people in.
Yeah, to kind of like catch, I guess you would call it like casual fans' eyes.
Yeah, but I think all of their stuff is taped already. So
yeah.
I think it's, it's going to be interesting. But that's going to be the Aleister Black and
Adam Cole.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
So that's a hell of a debut on network TV.
But yeah, I'm real curious about the Velveteen Dream, because last week we came on and we had mentioned that this whole tournament they had, like, William Regal had come out and on Facebook and announced matches different from what had been taped already. And now apparently, just from what we can put together, it seems like they went back to the original or whatnot, because I don't believe Velveteen Dream was at the tapings last week, period.
Right. Yeah, and from what I've been reading, he has like an injury or something.
Well, that's what William Regal claimed. I haven't heard that reported anywhere else.
Yeah, no, I'm just going by what they said.
But yeah, it's just interesting how I would like to think that, like, they wouldn't just keep him off TV for no reason right after, like, his strongest showing.
Yeah.
Ever. So.
Unless they have, like, something planned bigger or more long-term for him, I don't know.
Yeah, no, so, like, I'm leaning towards that he's legitimately injured.
That's what I'm kind of thinking too. It was just weird because we had mentioned it where like I'm pretty sure it was either Facebook or Twitter, somewhere on social media, they announced those matches and Gargano wasn't in the tournament. And I was like, well, that's kind of odd because when they had taped it, he was one of the main people in it. And then when I watched NXT this week, it was like they reverted back to what they originally had taped and pretended like it never even happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure Velveteen Dream was in both sets of matchups, and now he's
Not.
taken out.
Yeah.
So, like, that's like a change onto both, because he was announced, I'm 99% sure, when he did the Facebook Live thing.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure as well.
Because he's one of the ones that I like watching, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I have to make sure to watch because of him. Like,
Yes,
that's legitimately why I was thinking of it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna forever like him now because he rocked the old school Rick Rude, Warrior. Spray. Yeah, the trunks.
Yeah.
I popped for that.
Oh, I did too. I told like I'm sitting there trying to explain it to my wife, who's not a wrestling fan, doesn't know who Rick Rude was, and I'm trying to put over what a nostalgic pop I was getting just from this guy's outfit, just from his tights.
Like it brought you back to when you were a little kid.
Bro, like one of the action figures I have is the Ultimate Warrior. Actually, I have both Ultimate Warrior and Randy Savage from the retirement match.
Yeah,
and on that one, that's the one where he has Macho's face spray paint on him. He has his face spray painted in the same vein as Rick Rude would do. So yeah, I love that, and to see that, I was like, all right, man. This dude,
you won me over.
That alone won me over.
Yeah,
and then he put on like possibly match of the year candidate.
Yeah, at least from like a storyline perspective.
Yeah. I mean, even with the near falls, it was a good fucking match.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, before we get into it, don't forget to check out our sponsors over at the Squared Circle Wrestling Magazine. You can find them on Twitter at TSC Wrestling Mag. Use promo code ASCPOD for 20% off your next order. What did you think of Raw overall this week, Rye?
Nothing really stood out other than Matt Hardy being woken, which I don't know. I see a lot of people complaining like, oh, fucking Vince has to have his stamp all over it, yada, 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 yada. Yes, like Matt still owns this.
I was going to say it's a win. It's a win-win for everybody. Vince gets what he wants, and then, excuse me, if Matt Hardy decides to leave at some point, he still has the gimmick and can go use it wherever he so chooses.
Legally, yes, he can legally keep his name and gimmick. I mean, he always kept his name, but he can legally keep his gimmick and use the broken.
He can use broken, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's 2 letters different. Sounds identical. There's no real difference in the gimmick. Anyway.
I was gonna say there's no discernible difference, just the name.
So yeah, but I see people really complaining about, oh, it's so stupid that they would change it. Like, no, it's fucking genius.
And usually, I would say I wouldn't expect Vince to do that.
No, but I mean, like, things are changing a bit. Apparently, he has like full creative license over that gimmick now. Like, Vince is a fan.
Oh well, shit! If you have Vince in your corner, then you're good.
If you listen to that promo, you know he and he alone wrote that promo.
Yeah, because it was just like something he would say when he was on Impact.
Yeah, there's nobody writing that and telling him what to say. That's purely him. And
oh, absolutely. And I think he made Bray Wyatt more interesting now just from that alone.
Oh, I like the gimmick, so I was happy to see it. But as a fan,
They went nuts.
I enjoyed the shit out of that promo going back and forth.
Yeah, it was cool. And then when they're both maniacally laughing.
Yes, ha 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 ha! And then Bray's hysterical. Like he looked like he was really laughing.
Yeah, he pulls that off good.
Now my question is, what would you consider successful for, like, to look back and say in a year and say, okay, what they did was successful? I mean, do you make him world champion? How do you highlight Woken Matt Hardy in a meaningful way from this point on?
It's hard to say, because I can't see them making him world champion. I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't put money on it. Maybe a secondary title, like, the IC belt.
See, that's WWE's problem. This right here. The fact that the only way people are looked at as credible is by what belt they're holding. And they don't make second-tier characters anymore. Like, Mr. Perfect was Mr. Perfect, regardless if he had a belt. Rick Rude was still Rick Rude. Jake Roberts was Jake Roberts.
Like, yeah, you had, as an example, your Hogans or your Bret Harts, but then you had all the other guys you're mentioning below them where it filled out, a solid roster.
Yeah, now they are so few and far between, and you need more of those than you need champions.
Exactly.
And they're just so few and far between now.
Yeah, they're kind of like stuck in this, I guess, like a malaise, I guess you would call it.
It's just, I don't know what could be successful, because how do you put a belt on a character like that?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, people can argue like they did it with the tag titles and stuff like that. So theoretically, it could be possible, but they could put a fucking belt on it and still be a failure. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see him be more just a major character, period, even if it's not in a title hunt.
Well, yeah, because look at Jake Roberts. He was always in big time feuds and important stuff, and he never needed a title.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I think the only time I ever remember as a kid him ever even fighting for a potential title was when him and the $1 Million Man wrestled for the $1 Million belt, and that wasn't even really a recognized title.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. There was just some people who didn't need that in order to have, like, credibility.
Or success, yeah.
And
I agree with that. I gotta say, and I wanted your opinion on this. I watched Paige and Sasha's match, and I was pretty underwhelmed with it. And I was wondering if it's Paige is trying to knock off the rust from not being in the ring for so long.
I mean, she has been at the PC for a while, so it's not like she's getting in the ring cold.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't know what that ring rust is like to get over, so I don't want to say that it's not ring rust.
Yeah, I'm just totally guessing, because I was like, I guess I expected a little more, and the match was just kind of
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a matter of the. I don't know. I haven't been impressed. Like, I was such a strong proponent of the women's wrestling, and I just feel that it's been a long time since there was a women's match that was really like, wow. Like,
yeah, I know. You're like, I can't leave. I gotta sit and watch this. I tend to agree.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're being booked incorrectly or what, but even the quality of their matches, to me, and it's no knock to them. It's just I don't remember the last time there was one where it was like, holy shit, that was a great match. And I'm a very, very, very strong backer of women's wrestling. Where there have been amazing matches, I will sing my praises, about how great it is.
Yeah.
There really hasn't been anything that good in a while. Well, Ember Moon and like the Fatal 4-Way match in NXT was good.
Right, but I know you mean more so like the main roster stuff.
Yeah, moved up to the main roster. It's been a long time since I've really seen a good match. I mean, like, it was cool to see that Hell in a Cell, but that wasn't a good match.
No, it was sloppy.
Yeah, granted, I like Charlotte a hell of a lot more now than I did back then. I think she's gotten exponentially better.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, like, even with Bayley, like, I just feel like they've dropped the ball so much, and now they have Paige and these other two, and I don't know.
I know. I will say this: they're intriguing me with the stuff with Asuka and those three.
Yeah, I had mentioned this to you earlier in the week. I think it's very hard to book a undefeated person. I think that's why it's not done very often, because that puts a bit of a time frame on when this person's going to have a title shot, because there's only so long you can keep somebody who's undefeated away from a champion.
Yeah, because it's like you're pigeonholing yourself.
Yeah, and I think in the long run, it can do her much better if they have somehow Paige beat her, but like due to the interference of the other two, so it still is like it took three women.
Yeah.
And it it gets WWE out of that. Like before the streak becomes a really big deal. I mean, like, I know they talk about it a lot, but before that becomes an essential part of her story, I think it's better that they just get away from it.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because losing the streak isn't going to stop her from being amazing. Like, then you can just book her however the fuck. Like, you can book her to continue to win at that point, but she's not undefeated.
Yeah, it's not like she's just like buzzsaw, you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, even if she still is, they could get away from her being undefeated, and she can quietly win a lot of matches without
that's
it
true
being...
too, yeah.
But I mean, again, I could be completely wrong.
No. What you're saying makes sense. Because it's like to the point, where do you go after a certain point?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're prepared to make her champion, and then that undefeated streak, who's the one who gets to beat her then, blah, 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 blah. Like, yes, what I'm saying could be done down the line. It could take her forever to have a valid loss. It's possible. But, like, eventually, like, they have her onto roster talent already. They're going to run out of people for her to run over.
Yeah.
So... it's just, if it was 50 women for her to, like, run through, like Goldberg, that's one thing.
Exactly, because, I mean, how many, local talents can you bring in?
Yeah, then after a while, nobody wants to see local talent. Now she has to become more legit, because why is she only fighting these people nobody ever heard of? That becomes the argument. It's like, okay, so now you start using people like Dana Brooke, like Alicia Fox.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, eventually she's going to have to get onto the bigger names, and what do you do then? Like, do you put her over, Sasha Banks? Do you put her over Bayley? Do you put her over Nia Jax?
Yeah, speaking of which, what do you think about this stuff that they kind of planted the seed for with Nia and Enzo?
I hate relationship angles in wrestling.
I was like, this is really weird. Like, I normally I'll like give them a chance, but that is just such an odd combo.
I mean, I I'd mind less if they were a real couple,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It makes me question after her, like she tweeted or Instagram something about like women in the locker room, in the current locker room,
Oh
are
yes, I
are
know
body
exactly.
shaming.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the biggest woman on the roster and you put her with one of the scrawniest guys.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's like they're mocking her doing that.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I could be completely wrong, but this is WWE we're talking about.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
me or you have no knowledge, but it's just that seems like something they would do.
you know, 7, 8, 9 years ago when Mickey James was looking fine as hell and thick as fuck, they had her as the Piggy James gimmick.
Yeah, that was awful.
So I mean, it's I don't understand. You know, it's I don't put that past them. But I don't like relationships in wrestling. I mean, not I liked Elizabeth and Savage. That's about it. Because that seemed like, like that's his
Legitimate.
wife. Like, yeah, like she became his wife, and the whole thing with Queen Cherry. That's one of my favorite long term angles of all time.
Yeah,
The
it shows how
turn
you can do
to
it.
and then back from being the Macho King.
Yep, where you can do it correctly. That's like one of the best ways that it's been done.
Oh yeah, for me that's the prototype.
Yeah, I agree with that. I got to
So
tell
I
you,
mean,
dude. I don't know if
go
I
ahead.
told you this. Actually fell asleep on Raw, so I had to go back and rewatch the rest that I missed. And I was like, now I know why I fell asleep. The main event was like, ugh, these guys again.
Yeah, but like I had told you about the opening segment. I mean, again, people are like, oh, I fucking hate Jason Jordan. Well, they're doing their job for when they turn him heel. It's gonna work. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I agree with that because, and then him and Reigns had a good match.
yeah, I thought the match was really good for those two. I thought, and I think it made him look like he can carry himself in the ring. There are a couple spots where he just picked Roman up out of the air. Roman's not a little fucking guy.
I think he's at least 260.
Yeah, and there were a couple of times that Jordan snatched him just out of the air clean. So, I mean, it's the guy's not a bad worker. It's just that he has the personality, at least the good guy personality of a fucking brick.
But I like if they're going where I think they're going, they might have something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hearing him, they have to try to. I don't know. There was some parts of his shit that was good, and there was some parts of his shit this week that were cringy.
It's how I want to. He's got to just kind of work through the bumps.
Yeah, I mean, because he's a talented dude.
Like the only way he's going to get better is to kind of just go through those like rough patches and kind of learn how to smooth it out.
And I think the fans are going to help him with getting heat easily.
Yes,
So,
that's what it seems. But real quick before we move on to SmackDown, I'm just like I said about the main event. I'm like sick of seeing the Bar and Rollins and Ambrose fight each other. I'm done with it.
yeah, and I've been so over Braun Strowman and Kane, which they're rehashing again.
Oh dear God!
Um,
I'm hoping this coming Raw is like the end of that.
Me too, man. I mean, like, they've already done, like, he put him through the fucking ring. Like, I thought that was the end of it. Then crushed each other's tracheas. I mean, it's just like,
Is like, what do you got to
I,
do? Like burn him alive?
like, we get it. Braun Strowman is tough. We get it. Kane's a monster.
Yeah, I know. It's just like as the word that I use is "oofa," where you just want to like change the channel.
Yeah, I guess Kane lost the election. He's back to
Yeah,
wrestling when Kane was campaigning. Kane and Kane.
there you go.
Instead of corporate Kane, yeah. Congressman Kane. There we go. That's my favorite Kane. The one that goes away from once at a time. Congressman Kane.
Yeah, that works. All right. What did you think of SmackDown overall this week?
I'm really getting tired of seeing Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
I hear some people saying this may lead to a Shane heel turn, blah blah blah. But like, why? Why is Shane such a part of the show that I don't know?
It reminds me of when like they felt like they needed Vince so desperately on television.
Yeah, I don't know. Orton has never done it for me. I've never tried to hide that fact. I know he's great.
It's just his personality.
I just don't like his wrestling style.
Yeah.
I don't get into Orton matches. Like,
dude, not to cut you off, but did you see what he did when he dumped Sammy on the announcer's table?
No.
I didn't realize it till I went back and watched it again. You know how when right before they usually take that spot, the guy that like goes to set it up will take the monitors and everything out. You know,
yeah.
He didn't take them out, and he dumped Sammy literally like back first on one of those monitors.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, I think this whole thing is just stupid. Handcuffing. Like, I think that they're staying on these storylines for so long that, like, I don't know what else can be done. Like, they had a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, like where do you go?
Like, yeah, where's the blow off? Like, why are we continuing this? Shane lost that storyline.
And I've mentioned this. It almost feels like that they want to have, like, Daniel Bryan come back and fight Shane McMahon.
I would fucking love that.
I mean, I don't know if that's where they're going, but that's what it feels like.
I wish they'd fucking clear him.
It almost makes me feel like, and this is just, throwing it out there, that they are going to clear him because they're afraid that he's going to leave and it's going to hurt them in the long run. You know what I mean? Like, they'd rather keep him as opposed to letting him leave.
I don't know. I mean, they've let other guys leave.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just totally...
They let Stone Cold leave. I mean, like, they can only do so much.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm just totally, like, throwing it out there. I don't know for certain. I will say this. I was shocked at how over Rusev and Aiden English were on this show.
I think people are really gravitating towards Rusev Day. I think it's one of those stupid things that has just gotten over.
Dude, if you watch the show, they were like loudly chanting for Rusev Day.
I think he's one of the guys who's kind of like... A lot of people watch social media, man. He's on a lot of the up, down stuff.
And he's a funny dude.
He's a personable guy, and they're letting him be personable.
That's what I said. They're finally letting him show, like, who he really is.
Exactly. Like, look at Big E. He's a big, funny guy, but when he needs to turn it up, he turns it up. Like, there's no reason why Rusev can't be that way, but just be a bad guy.
Yeah. And for all of you that are out there, I don't know if they've seen it, because I sent it to Ryan earlier today, and it was quite possibly one of the funniest fucking things I've seen in a long time. There's a video that somebody made. I can't remember who it is. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Of someone, it's called, I think it's Happy Rusev Day, and it's Rusev singing, and it's to the background of Shawn Michaels' theme music.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's not Rusev singing.
Oh no, it's not. But it's someone that sounds dead ringer for him.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Rusev singing the Rusev Day song. And it's great. It's to the Shawn Michaels Sexy Boy beat. It's great.
It's like a remix, yeah.
Yeah, I sent it to a number of people, and they were like, well, what the fuck is this? This is the greatest thing I've heard.
Like, I haven't laughed that hard in a long time, and I had it on, like, repeat for most of the day today.
Yeah. One of my friends is like, fuck you, this is going to be stuck in my head all day now.
Yes, it's so catchy. So that's the first thing I said when I sent it to you. I was like, this is catchy as fuck.
Yeah, I appreciated that. I like stuff like that.
Yeah, because, like, it's supposed to be fun and not, like, taken seriously.
I will say, though, that the first verse is a little rough. I was like, where's this?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, but then it picks up after the first verse. I was like, okay, this is much better now.
Yeah. I will say I'm watching SmackDown this week. This triple threat with like Ziggler and Corbin and Rude, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I hate to keep saying that phrase, but that's what it's just like. It's just like,
It has the potential to be all right, though. I mean, Dolph Ziggler is Dolph Ziggler.
Yes.
What's his name has come tremendously far. Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
Like, you give him a good song, and all of a sudden he's more likable.
Dude, I really like that song.
But like, I like that song just as a song in general.
Yeah.
Like, away from it being a wrestling theme, it's just a good fucking song.
Yes.
Actually, funny story. I was just telling my wife. You know how sometimes, like, if your headphones aren't completely in the jack, it still comes out of like the speaker?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm on the train the other day, and I'm listening to that. And my headphones, I guess, because it was in my pocket, kind of pulled out slightly. So that's blasting out of my phone in my pocket, but I'm still hearing it also in my headphones. So unaware of, to me, that it's still playing. People in the train look at me like I'm fucking weird.
Like, I don't know about that guy.
What kind of music is that, bro?
It's funny. But no, my thing is, like, I get what you're saying about Ziggler, but they've made me not care about him.
Yeah, I don't know if I said it last week to you or what, but he was on Edge and Christian podcast, and I think, yeah. And it was really, like, he was talking about that the fans already expect him to lose, so how's he supposed to go out there and make somebody look good?
Yeah, when they know, like, he has no credibility.
Yeah, when I have no chance to win this. So, like, how's this guy looking good when I'm supposed to have no chance to win to begin with?
Right, because, like, I thought when they initially put him in there with Bobby Roode, I was like, oh, this will be fantastic. But the way it was booked and the matches were like the kiss of death.
Well, yeah, he was talking about how originally they had a 2 out of 3 falls match, and then they were told at the last minute, from 8 minutes, they had to do a 2 out of 3 more falls match in 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
How the fuck do you do a 2 out of 3 falls match in 6 minutes?
It's impossible.
I mean, they did it.
It's not impossible, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's not possible to have a good one. Absolutely not. How the fuck do you do anything? You have to have 2 or 3 pinfalls in fucking 6 minutes?
Yeah, it's asinine.
But
that's amazing to me that someone would even tell a talent to have a 2 out of 3 falls match in 6 minutes.
Yep, but that's what happened. I believe it was SmackDown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, or a couple weeks ago, yeah. Ooh. All right, before we get to 205, don't forget to check out our social media pages. You can find them on Facebook.com/American Sports Connection or on Twitter AM Sports Con Con Pod. What were your thoughts on 205 Live, Rye?
Again, nothing that really stood out. I know they're still doing all this shit with the Zoe train and I don't know. It's not entertaining.
No. I will say though, and this is just because I like him. I'm excited to see Swan and Gulak on Raw this coming week.
Yeah, that ought to be good.
And then whoever wins is gonna fight Enzo.
Yeah, that's curious. I wonder if they're gonna have it be Gulak and then Gulak turn on Enzo.
I know.
I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I just hope they keep him the same. Like, don't let him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to necessarily be a face, but just turn on Enzo.
Yeah, no, I agree fully.
Because what he's doing is working, and I wouldn't, like deviate from what they're doing.
No, I agree fully. No, I like what he's been doing. He corrects me to fuck up.
Oh, he's great. I still say, because when I watch this, I look at Gran Metalik, and I just look at him as a giant missed opportunity.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, this guy is so good, and he's got the mask. He could appeal to children. Like, he could be, and I'm in no way comparing him to Rey Mysterio. He could be the next Rey Mysterio in the sense of, appealing to the Latin audience and, for kids and, things like that.
I'm pretty sure he speaks English, too.
Oh, does he?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well then, Jesus, then they're really missing the boat.
Yeah, I mean, and he has the cool, flashy moves and stuff like that. Yeah, they really did miss the boat with that.
Because when I watch him, especially when he was in the Cruiserweight Classic, he just has star written all over him.
Yep.
But then again, they bungled that, division in general pretty badly, which I had mentioned to you earlier today. It's sometime in after the first of the year, after the beginning of the year, 2018. It's only like 3 shows. They're going to run 205 Live house shows, just them. And they're in like the Northeast. It's in like...
Yeah, I saw one was Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yeah, and another one's in New York. I can't remember where. And then I don't recall the third. Like, they want to see if it'll work there and first and kind of, I guess, go from there.
Yeah, but I just don't know why they wouldn't have done it in New York City. It's not New York City.
No, I know it's not. I want to say it's like in Binghamton or some weird place like that. But don't quote me. I think if they did it right in like specific cities, it could work.
Yeah, I mean, like I think if they held it in the Manhattan Center, they would do all right.
Oh yeah, because those guys, a lot of them are from like Ring of Honor or other like independent companies that they're going to still support them.
Yep.
That's why, fans... like I'm saying, if you like strategically, kind of like how they do with NXT, they'll have them, in certain parts of the country, say for a week or 5 shows or whatever it is, you have. If they do it like that, I think it could work.
I agree.
So that I would actually, be intrigued. Like, I guess they would run like buildings like NXT does, like real small venues, like no more than like 5,000.
Yeah, they got to see how they draw it in the beginning, though.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, it would be at the very most a 5,000 seat building.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if there's such a big demand other than the loyal, like, independent wrestling fans that'll come to see because they were, hey, well, he was in the company that I used to see him at, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, they haven't done a good enough job of really building it with the universe, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. All right. NXT this week. What were your thoughts?
It's cool that they're starting this tournament. Like, I kind of mentioned before with the whole Johnny Gargano Velveteen Dream thing. It's just a little bit weird. But no, it wasn't a bad show.
Yeah, it was cool to see Trent Seven in the tournament.
Yeah.
Because him and Killian Dane have history
from
over in the UK.
Well, that's what I meant. Yeah.
And then I really enjoyed the No Holds Barred match with Ruby Riott and Sonya Deville.
Yeah, it gives me optimism for Sonya on the main roster.
Yeah, because if they could book her like that or let her do things like that, I think she could do well for herself.
Make her look credible.
Yeah.
Instead of a fucking costume, because that's what it looks like now. She just looks like a gimmick.
I know. I hate that.
But, I mean, it was a good going out party for both women.
No, I agree. They went out on a high note. Did you see the vignette for the person that is coming soon?
No.
They had it was a very brief one, no more than 15 or 20 seconds, and you couldn't see who it was. It was just like a figure, and they stepped up, and then before you could see who they were, it came up and it said soon, but instead of them being O's, the two O's were spades, like aces of spades.
Huh.
And I have a pretty good idea who that was. Or who that is, I should say.
Gunner?
No, I think it might be Shayna Baszler, because she's, from what I remember, they call her the Queen of Spades.
Oh, that's possible.
So, I looked at it and I'm like, that person looks really familiar. And then I looked at it again and I'm like, yeah, that kind of looks like her build.
That's...
So it could potentially be her.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was at least intrigued because they gave you just enough to kind of like, huh, okay. To kind of get the wheels turning.
That's cool then. So,
I know you're not a big Ono fan, but I thought him and Gargano had a fantastic match.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with his work rate. I never have said that.
Oh, I know.
No, I mean it's my argument is I just think he looks like a slob.
Yeah, it's weird. And people are like, oh, well, he should be up on the main roster. I never see him going to the main roster. I think where he's at right now is his ceiling.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too.
Like, I hate to say it like this, but I feel like he was just brought in to kind of put guys over, basically.
I don't disagree with that.
To just make the young guys look good, and he's a name that people are going to want to come and see. Regardless of him winning or losing.
Yeah, I mean it's. I know he definitely has a name. I just think he could do more. I mean, and again, it has nothing to do with his size. I mean, like Kevin Owens is one of my favorite wrestlers. So I mean, and I liked him when he was at his heaviest in Ring of Honor. So, I mean, like, size don't matter. Like, I love Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, those dudes are awesome.
I just... think it looks very like I'm okay with Heavy Machinery wearing an outfit like that. I am not as okay with Cassius Ono wearing an outfit like that.
Yeah.
And again, that's just my opinion, which makes it right. I'm kidding. But no, they had a really good match. I mean, like, I'm not surprised when Ono has a good match. It's just a lot of his matches don't do it for me. But when they do, I'll definitely give him credit.
Oh, yeah, it's like, I know what you mean. It's kind of like how I feel with Drew McIntyre. It's not that he's necessarily bad, it's just he doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I just don't appreciate his wrestling style. I get that completely.
That's why I was really impressed with what Almas got out of him at the last takeover.
Yeah, they had a really good match.
Like, I'm like, wow, like, this is, like, it was fun to watch. Like, because I remember the match he had with Bobby Roode when he won the title. I'm like, oh my God, shoot me, please.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. I mean, like, it wasn't that they weren't trying. It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't think this worked.
It just did not work, that match. I was like, oh. And it was funny because me and Lance were doing the live reaction to it. And once we got off air, he said the same thing. He's like, Jesus Christ, dude, that was bad.
Yeah, I've never really been a big fan of his, so.
No.
Sucks that he got hurt, though. Nobody
that does suck. I feel bad for him. I'm really excited for the NXT to be on USA next week because for people that might not have ever seen NXT, they get to watch Aleister Black and Adam Cole. What a treat.
Yeah, I think that has the potential to be, like a really good move for WWE to get this spot.
Oh, absolutely. If they could have that and cut back Raw back to 2 hours, it would be a win for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good. But then you'd cut back reasons why people may get the network.
Yeah. Well, and then there's no excuse why they can't watch NXT because you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't have the network," or blah blah blah, or you know what I mean.
But the people who do have the network may only be getting it for like stuff
the pay-per-views.
Well, that and maybe just to watch NXT.
That too, yeah.
If you give it away for free, it may cut down the incentive.
You got a good point.
I mean, again, I'm all for it. I think it's good. Build a third brand, have more stars. I think it's a good idea, so that if you are a guy who stays at NXT for 3-4 years, it's not looked at as you weren't good enough.
Yeah, I was gonna you're less than.
Yeah, that like you're with a legitimate brand.
Yeah.
And you have value in this legitimate brand instead of it just being like the minor leagues. Like it's maybe the brand C, but it's still on an equal playing field as A and B.
Oh yeah, that makes total sense.
And I think these guys deserve that. I mean, some of these guys have, are world traveled. They're ready for it.
Right. Well, see, what has happened is NXT has kind of morphed into this where they have guys like that, like the Nakamura's were there, the Garganos and Ciampas and all this. And the reason is, it was originally designed to be developmental. However, a lot of their guys and girls that they sign are not ready, and they take a year or more sometimes to be able even just to put them on television.
Yeah.
So they got to kind of fill that void with like a healthy mix of their young talent and established talent.
Plus, how do you get over new people if you don't have anybody established to get them over on?
Exactly. Just what Ono did for Lars Sullivan.
Yeah. So when Lars Sullivan beat him, he was beating somebody who had a history.
And people are like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were taken aback by, look how easily Lars Sullivan beat, Ono. And Ono's done A, B, C, and D. Yeah, so it's a fine line.
Yeah, no, I think that if they can get onto TV, I think that that's exactly how it should be used.
Yeah.
Like fully 1,000,000%. And again, there's nothing wrong with getting more of your people out there on television for people to see.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with getting more eyes on your product and more eyes on people that, they might not know, most of your universe. Because, less than 50% of WWE's universe watches NXT.
I'm also, but how do I put it? So it wouldn't be like how 205 Live is now, though, right? Where they travel with them?
Not to my knowledge.
Because I think that's one thing that NXT needs to keep as long as possible is that atmosphere.
Yes, where they're their own entity.
Yes, it's like the crowd at PWG.
Yeah, like that, or it reminds you of like the old ECW arena, or like that really intimate feel.
Yeah, where each fan feels like a personal connection.
Yes.
To what's going on. Maybe because, right before the show, like, I'm sure when you live in a place like that, it's always the same people in the crowd. I'm sure when you go to, 20 tapings, like, talent knows who you are by face.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like going to an indie show where, like, okay, you may be friendly with somebody who's a heel, but when he comes out, you're going to boo the fuck out of him.
Yeah, you get, like, when you see him before the show, you give him a big hug, but then when he comes out of the curtain, you're flipping him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And I think NXT, a lot of their talents have that because it is such a small venue.
And because a lot of those guys and girls that are there have come from those small, intimate venues anyway, so it's, you know what I mean? Like, they're used to it, and it's kind of like people kind of gravitate to it already because they've been in those intimate settings with a lot of those talents before.
Or when you're somebody who's brand new, you're just grateful to these people. Because you're grateful to anybody who's willing to watch you in the beginning.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, I mean, think about all the guys that we've met who have, really aren't anything yet. They're on their way, but they're the nicest, most humble guys, and they're just appreciative when you want to talk to them. So.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. But on that note, we're going to wrap things up. Before we get out of here, you can also catch our stuff on the B Plus Player Radio as well. Instead of Facebook and Twitter, you can catch them there as well. The best way right now is on Twitter. You can find B Plus Player Radio at B Plus Radio. They have all kind of fun shows on there. The catalog's quite long. I was just listening to Braxton Sutter's podcast with Andy Williams on there. Those guys are hysterical. So go ahead and check it out. But on that note, we're going to head out of here. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that stuff. And we'll see you back next time. Have a good night, everybody.